I am Lauren Blair Donovan. I do all kinds of things in Hollyweird, but I am also complexly traumatized. Yes, I have the CPTSD. And something tells me that if you're watching this, you might have the CPTSD too. And us complexies, as I like to call us, we have as much in common with ourselves as we have differences because it is complex, it's not a monolith. That said, I am 99.9% sure that everybody with CPTSD cannot sleep. It's an anxiety-based disorder. It's a million other disorders too, but it is also an anxiety disorder, and I don't think people with anxiety sleep. So for today's video, I'm gonna share my kind of 3-step system of how I've learned to make sleep my bitch. Now, making sleep my bitch, we're giving myself a rounding up kind of edit. Because yeah, I have my days, and we'll get into it in the video, but I have found 3 different things that I do separately. Some have multiple steps, you'll see when we get there. 3 different things that I do to ensure that 90% of the time I get a decent enough amount of sleep, right? And the quality is like good enough. So this can apply to you even if you don't have complex PTSD, because let's be real, most people aren't sleeping. Most people are not really regulated, like nervous system wise, which, no, you can have a dysregulated nervous system without having complex trauma. Like, nervous system health is important for everyone, so even if you have only a little bit of trauma, maybe not enough to have a whole ass disorder, stick with me, I got you. I can't perform miracles, but I have walked the walk and now I'm talking the talk. That's the best way to put it. Bonus fun fact, CPTSD is a nervous system disorder and injury, yay! Look guys, it's not exciting, it's not, but like, just like why I named us complexies. We gotta add some humor to it because there's literally nothing funny about complex PTSD, and I would know, I'm a comedian. And it's like what's going on with the world right now? I don't really want to get too political, but like the news is weirder than any punchline can be. That's kind of what it feels like to have CPTSD. And if you don't know me from TikTok, I am on TikTok, talk about being complexly traumatized there. When the whole TikTok ban happened, it happened to me. I was on it trying to say goodbye to y'all and they shut it down early. The news is weird, guys. It's just no take backs. The news is weird. You know, it really got me thinking about just my content in general, both the complex trauma content, but I do other things also. And you know, I've had a weird couple years because of the CPTSD, right? I just like calling it the CPTSD or the complex trauma also. Again, we just gotta make it more lighthearted than it is. But the only silver lining that kind of came out of that, because it's super dysregulated my nervous system. Yeah, the only good thing to come out of the whole TikTok drama, which still could happen as of filming this, I was heard that the 75-day ban might get extended. No one's really talking about it, and last time no one was talking about it, TikTok did get taken away for like 15 hours or whatever, so TikTok may not be in my business plan as I thought, which is a huge bummer for me because, I mean, in theory I am a content creator. I'm also just a creator of media, and since the pandemic, yeah, how to word that? It hasn't been going great. My nervous system completely melted and I could barely function, and I was like a zombie, and I, in addition to not being able to sleep, couldn't feel my appetite, lost 30 pounds. I've gained about 12 to 14 back. Congratulate me. It was a journey more than it sounds. And yeah, apparently when you're not eating, you're technically dying, especially when it goes on for years. You're not gonna have energy when that's happening. So, but yeah, I'm a puppeteer and my puppets are just starting to get, it's really not a non-graphic way to put it, but like my hand up their butts again for the first time in years. Like, they've been neglected. I keep threatening to film my comedy characters. We'll see if that happens. About to also upload a show about the marijuana. That might be up by the time I post this. We'll see. We'll circle back to that later. So yeah, TikTok was at least accessible enough for me to do, because you don't have to wear makeup on TikTok. You can just, your hair can be disheveled. And I'm like, I have complex trauma. This speaks to me because I have no executive function because I'm effectively dying and I don't want to put on makeup. And if I have a funny thought or a helpful thought and I just feel like sharing, if I have like that 5-minute window of energy, I'm gonna TikTok. That was fun while it lasted. And hopefully it'll continue to last, but all good things. I think one way or the other, the app is probably changing, so I had to think about more long-term plans. Hence, I'm gonna be doing a CPTSD show here on YouTube. To be totally frank, I haven't decided if this is gonna be weekly or every other week, but the plan is to have at least twice a month because there are a lot of topics about complex PTSD that sometimes don't always feel appropriate on TikTok, because even though TikTok seems to be favoring longer videos, and you can upload up to an hour. Like, you can't film an hour, you can only film 10 minutes. You can upload up to an hour because they're competing with YouTube, I think, in theory. Most people are not wanting to watch the same creator on their phone on TikTok for like an hour or 20 minutes even. Some of these videos will probably be pretty short, some might be long, but they're all gonna be a little deeper dives. When appropriate, maybe I'll get more personal, but I think for the first couple, I'd rather just kind of stick to the basics besides like the qualifying information, you know what I mean? Where it's like, this is what I've been through, this is why I know this stuff, like that kind of thing. Without further ado, I really wanted the sleep video to be the first one because I think it's so hard to function in life if you're not sleeping. You can have 1,000 other problems and you might be able to mask your way through, you might be able to have your brain turn on. If you're sleep deprived, adrenaline's only gonna get you so far and for so long. And there's a huge wear and tear on your body and your mood and just everything if you're not sleeping. So we all need to be sleeping more. So I'm gonna start with the most, not obvious, but like things you can do right before bed, things that I've been doing right before bed. And then I'm gonna share 2 other steps. One happens before bed and one can happen, you tell me when we get there. Okay, the first one's a little bit of a Captain Obvious one, and it's just your run-of-the-mill, like over-the-counter sleep aid. This is what I have been on most recently, Sleep 3. In the past, I have done those like Unisom or like Target knockoff, whatever, like blue pills. I've done Tylenol PM, but I've been trying to stay away more from acetaminophen, and even though it's not addictive, Tylenol PM, I find it very habit forming, like really hard to break. I was so proud of myself in the before times in 2019. I don't know how I did it. I was still grieving my mom who died in 2018, but I weaned myself all sleep aids. And I'm not gonna lie, you guys, it was the best sleep I've ever had in my life. When my body just wanted to go to bed and it stayed in bed. And then I woke up. Like, it seems so simple, but like, I've not seen that since the before times. And I can't even blame the pandemic. By like the end of the summer of 2019, I was just way too booked and way too stressed about stuff, and I had to go back to my old ways, basically. So I had CPTSD then, but I didn't get diagnosed till 2022. Anyways, for whatever the reason, I haven't been using them lately. I don't think I made a conscious choice either which way. My memory is a little soupy from the past couple of months, but I know I was on them at one point, but then I weaned myself off them for a little bit, but I wasn't not on a sleep aid. We'll get there in a minute. Like, I cycle through sleep aids from the drugstore, like it is what it is. I have historically a little bit of a weird relationship with melatonin. It doesn't always really work with me. It just doesn't. I have read that like if you have too much light or something sometime after you take it, that can keep you up or something like that. I don't even know. I can't seem to find the article that I read, so someone in the comments, please tell me if you know what I'm talking about. Like in January, I had a stretch where I was waking up in the middle of the night, which is one of my least favorite forms of insomnia. There's like multiple kinds, fun fact. Lifelong insomniac. I should tell you why I'm a lifelong insomniac. It's a traumatic story, but it's like low-key funny, but it's not funny. It's just not the type of trauma you're used to kind of type thing. It started young with me. But basically, I've had to get real good at knowing the different types of insomnia because I've had most. It's like the worst surprise party, right? Where it's like, yes, I fell asleep. Except now it's 3 a.m. and I'm awake and I can't go back to bed and like, oh, tomorrow's gonna be hell. It's like, it started so good. I actually fell asleep, but JK, after 1 REM cycle, if not less, let's just get up in the middle of the night as we do. That bullshit started happening in like January, I wanna say. So maybe even December, I don't know. So I started looking into like long-lasting sleep melatonin because I knew that was a thing. And this particular one also has something I'm also already on, which I cannot pronounce. We're gonna get there in a minute. L-theanine, something like that. I think there's other stuff in here. There's chamomile extract, lavender extract, lemon balm extract, and valerian root extract. So lots of extracts that are all supposed to be very relaxing. And that's the extent of my knowledge on this. Look, I didn't say this at the top of the video, but this is totally worth saying. Again, I'm a puppeteer. I put my hands up puppets' butts. Like, I did not go to medical school. I am just speaking from a lived experience, you know, where it's like, these are the things that helped me. And if this feels like you, this is like a brainstorm session, you know, don't take medical advice from me because that's just a very bad idea. But human to human, do your own research based on everything I'm saying. Talk to a doctor or a therapist or any other medical professional if you have questions or concerns about like if something would counteract anything. Not that anything's too heavy, but everybody responds differently to all types of things. So I'm not pretending that these will all work for you. I'm not pretending that I know you. It's just, if you're watching this video, we might have a few things in common, and this is what helped me. That's, you know, I'm not afraid to not hide the brushstrokes. I will always call out when I'm an idiot. I'm smart enough to catch it, you know? So yeah, this one's been going pretty well for me. I got it in bulk, but there was another one that's like almost identical, I think from like ZQuil, that I kind of liked a little bit more. It felt more consistent at least. So there's multiple types of extended release melatonin. I had to think of the phrase. Great spokesmodel. I can feel the brand endorsements coming. No, I mean, I'm open, like call me, but I'm gonna butcher sentences for the next couple months. My brain's not working right because nervous system dysregulation, again, it affects your vocabulary. And some months back, I decided I'm trying not to be a perfectionist anymore. I'm like, yeah, I guess I will be the content creator that trips over her words and just says the wrong stuff for things and forgets what I'm saying mid-sentence. It's my brand now, you know? Another item that I think a lot of you guys might know, because I get this a lot in my comments on TikTok anytime I go near sleep or like needing to be more relaxed or whatever, is GABA. This one is just from like Target, but I'm traveling and I had to get like new GABA, so but my Now one wore off, and like, look, Target is being, well, bad joke alert, but ew, they're making themselves a target. If you ask me, I don't want to get political because I think healing's for everyone, but there's some stuff going on. Obviously, I've already made a joke about it, and I really like people, so I'm not okay with like a lot of what's happening, and we'll just keep it at that. But get your GABA wherever you need it, because you can only be a helpful person in the name of progress if you're sleeping, right? Like sometimes we have to choose our battles, so I'm not. Hence, I had to sleep. I'm traveling. Like, I can't count. Didn't realize I was almost out. It's a messy world, right? But historically, I love this brand so much. Seriously, if like anybody knows anybody and we want to talk sponsorships, like I've been using them since like for like 10 years, I think, for their iron pills specifically. They are plant-based. I have long-term issues with anemia because of course I do. I have not been the picture of health. If you're catching that trend, you're very astute. So every time I find a new vitamin or mineral or adaptogen or whatever anything is qualified to be called, if I see that they have a Now thing, I get it, just because like their iron supplements probably saved my life, and they didn't make me dizzy and lightheaded like a lot of iron pills do. I purposely saved the bottle knowing I was gonna be filming this on this trip because like, no, I love Now. I really, really love Now. As I mentioned, this is also from the before times, the more recent before times, but from Target, the L-theanine, whatever. Real talk, I love it when people tell me how to pronounce stuff because I'm a reader. I don't know how to say words. I know how to read them. I don't know how to say them. That said though, just quick anecdote, like I also cover the challenge a lot here on YouTube and on a different challenge TikTok. Look, like I said, sometimes I say things weirdly or incorrectly, and there's like a really famous cast member named Cara Maria, like as in drive a car, Cara Maria. And I was doing the cast list announcements for All Stars 4, which was her big return to the franchise. And I may or may not have been on a special candy in my defense, but it doesn't matter either way. I said Cara Maria, and that video did very well. So thousands, like tens of thousands of people, if not hundreds of, I don't remember what the total was, but that casting videos tend to do very well for me on that account. Got a lot of comments saying it's Cara Maria, and it's like, man, I love it when people correct me because I'm not afraid to be wrong. I'm not afraid to not know, but I do know. And now you're mansplaining to me, and I shouldn't be so aggro because you don't know I have a nervous system disorder, and I'm gonna say stuff weird, and I'm either not gonna catch it because I'm on a special candy, or really it doesn't matter because I still won't catch it sober. But limitations that people don't understand are so fun. Also, how complicated are we as humans? Where it's like, I love to be corrected, but if I know and it's a secret to you that I don't know, don't you dare correct me. That's just human nature in a nutshell. Like, am I right or am I right? But yeah, both of these I think help with this one, especially neurotransmitter support, which is good for those of us with the mental health disorders, which CPTSD is technically, because it's an anxiety-based disorder. And these promote relaxation. I was taking both of these during the day. I don't know when I started either, because my memory is so just not okay, and especially in terms of like recent history, like everything is so warbled, which is kind of a new, well, not new, it's a couple years off and on it's been like this, but this one's pretty bad. But I know at some point between probably August and October, I introduced both back into my regimen. I didn't do my research, so like I said, please do your research if you think any of my ideas are good, because I might have a blind spot and I might, because my memory sucks, say the wrong thing, and you know what I mean? I'll try to have corrections if I catch it in the edit, obviously. But yeah, the stuff that like helps you relax, they're not drowsy enough to help me like sleep on its own. But sometimes like I wanted to take them during the day because I have a lot of nerves sometimes, especially with like I was not in good shape, you know, going into the fall, let's put it that way. And when I'm that dysregulated, anxiety, whether there are things to be anxious about or not, are just so prevalent. Like it's the name of the game. You're gonna be anxious. And so I just wanted to calm down and not take special candies, you know, during the day, because that can make me lose my cognitive functioning, right? I make exceptions, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But what I find so interesting about all supplements, because I'm on like give or take a fuck ton, because again, I was very undernourished for years, so I'm on like it's ridiculous how much I'm on, to be honest, but a lot don't play nice with each other, and a lot are better to take at different times of the day, not necessarily any old time of the day. And so I've had a learning curve recently. I don't know if GABA or L-theanine is for me during the day, but because once I learned that, I kind of experimented anyway, and I was like, oh, I think I am not drowsy where I could sleep, but like, yeah, I'm a little tired, I'm a little fuzzy, a little not sharp, you know? So that doesn't help me too much, unfortunately. But obviously that's not gonna be a problem if you take that at night. You want to feel that way at night. Hence I got smart and decided to start taking them at night. As you'll continue to see, I'm on more than this. Now, granted, not all at once lately, yes, but these are things that I cycle through, and not usually a grab bag of everything. Because I'm on a grab bag of everything, and because I just have like so much still kind of going on physically, I can't speak specifically to how much like does GABA work on its own. What kind of relaxation does that do? Is it more of like a body relaxation, a head relaxation? Because those can be two different things. So I'm not like a expert on it, but I know I do better when they're in the mix. So at least when I'm really suffering, and struggling to sleep. Now, another slightly more Captain Obvious one would be magnesium. Again, at the Bullseye store. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. This is old. I'm gonna be using this for a while. There's 120, I'm not even sure I'm half done. But these are chewable tablets. I'm gonna talk about magnesium again in another video, but basically we all need more of it because we're not absorbing it correctly, or something about the food, it's not as dense or potent or something. So everybody needs more magnesium, but magnesium is actually one of the biggest in terms of support supplements and vitamins that people with complex PTSD or really any nervous system disorder should be on. A lot of people have very different reactions to magnesium. A lot of people, it calms them down automatically. Some people I think need to be on it daily. I would probably put myself more in that category. But something I didn't know until my TikTok started popping off a little bit and I was getting consistent like comments, you can put magnesium on your feet. Like, what a world. Like, really. So this is like a spray bottle, and I'm not gonna like, look, I don't like kink shame, but like, I don't want to put myself in a position to, I'm not consenting to being the object of a foot fetish, not without being paid. So I'm not gonna demonstrate, I'm so sorry, but I asked my best friend who's in therapeutic nutrition, because I've got a lot of comments saying like, oh, magnesium, spray it on your feet or your legs. And I was like, and my best friend is my therapeutic nutritionalist. Like, I'm very lucky. I do like to sometimes share information that I've learned with her. Again, I'm not a doctor, but food for thought helps you hopefully frame your own experiences and help find solutions. Like, that kind of sharing is caring, because I know it's a huge privilege that I have such a good friend that is so knowledgeable in something that has helped me a lot, both with health but with mental health. Is that for real? Can you really do magnesium sprays? She's like, yeah, it's just like an Epsom bath salt, you know, just another way of absorbing it, you know. And I was like, huh, well, I do have CBD salve, so I guess I get it. Okay. I don't use this one as much because sometimes I'm just lazy and I don't want to take off my socks, spray, and then put it back on. This is my life, this is my journey. I'm not going to defend it. But because I've been traveling and because I'm still a little like not sleeping great every night, I'm still kind of like in a risk factor zone of, you know, I'm stressed about a lot of things, so I don't want to like not sleep. This is why I'm so aggro about all my sleep supplements on this trip type thing, right? But yeah, if you can't find a good magnesium supplement, because some of them taste weird, there's powders, some are like horse pills. I've tried to get on the magnesium train for different reasons, like years ago, and it took until really having major CPTSD flare-ups in the past couple years and having my health completely crashed to finally all aboard, like I'm on it. Not all magnesium products are fun. So if you're having trouble finding like a pill that works or a powder, you don't like how the chewable tablets taste, just spray your feet, man. Another one is ashwagandha. I'm still kind of learning all the, like, I don't want to say benefits because it tends to make you happy and calm and all the things, but it's just like one of those super adaptogens that I think is good for a lot of things. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like for other searches, for other ailments that I have, this has kind of come up, right? Sometimes I do take this during the day. For me, it's not too potent to make me like fog out. I think it's working. I've really only started taking ashwagandha since around the new year, and I'm filming this February 19th. So this isn't my first form of it. I have teas that have it, etc. So I don't know much about the isolated properties. I know I tried this in the pandemic. I think it was kind of working, but also I was about to get like vaccinated, so I was hopeful that life would get better, which was such a nice little window. Spoiler alert, my life did not get better, even if I could go out in the world. Like, yeah. So I have some history with this, but the data is not clear, but so many people swear by it. It's not bothering me. I like it. I keep using it daily and nightly sometimes, so it'd be remiss of me to not talk about ashwagandha, even though I can only kind of say so much about it. And finally, this is like so extra, but got this in like a bubble bath kit, which by the way, baths or showers before bed tells your body it's time to relax. If you build that routine, sometimes your body starts to get really tired naturally. I go through phases where I apparently get allergic to creating a pattern for myself that would make my life easier, because complex drama, if you know, you know. but I have been working on trying to get maybe better with, yeah, getting clean before bed, and hopefully that helps promote sleep because you're warm and relaxed and all the things, right? But this came with a bubble bath kit, and it's a lavender spray that you can like spray on your like pillows and stuff. I don't do it all the time. It smells good. I do like it. And I tend to spray it like 20 minutes before I want to go to bed because I don't want to like have an asthma attack. Inhaling perfume, you know, like hard pass. Who needs that? Hey guys, Editor Blair here. So I didn't say this, but like, I didn't say it, but lavender just helps you relax. And a lot of aromatherapy, whether it's from candles or incense or like, I don't know, mists, whatever, plug-in mists, you know what I'm talking about. In theory, I think they can all help you relax. This is the product that I use the least. I usually just bring it when I'm traveling because I'm less likely to be like regulated enough to sleep. And as somebody who hasn't super gone down the aromatherapy route yet, I know the least about it, so I kind of glossed over it. But yeah, lavender is very relaxing. So sprays, candles, whatever, I felt like it was remiss to not pop back in here and maybe better explain that ever so slightly. Okay, so part 2. And by part 2, I really mean part 1 because how you live your life during the day, I have learned somewhat recently, like in the past year specifically, really impacts how you sleep. What I mean by that is, look, I'm in America. I know on TikTok there's people from other countries who watch. I hope that's the same on YouTube. I never mean to sound exclusive, but obviously we can speak to our lived experiences. And here in America, we aren't the healthiest. And I'm not talking about aesthetics, okay? I'm just talking about what we consume. Not nutrient-dense food. It is what it is. Now, if something were to go wrong, like in my case, my appetite got so dysregulated, I couldn't, feel my appetite. My whole relationship to food had to change in order to survive it. Because obviously the first step was, eating, but the second step was trying to restore what had been lost. I might do a whole other video on just like food and how to eat for your nervous system because I found some pretty interesting cheats, and I think I have a lot of ways of humanizing the struggle of how to do that and how to prioritize what to cheat with and I think I can approach it from a way that's like not asking that you be a perfectionist about it, because I've had to learn to not be perfect about trying to take care of yourself, and spiraling out and not doing anything you need to be doing and like not taking care of yourself, But I have found that if you have a lot of carbohydrates or sugar or caffeine during the day, your cortisol levels are probably gonna spike. You're gonna have some I think they're just cortisol spikes, possibly in the middle of the night. Hence, you might be waking up. You might be having trouble falling asleep because you might be too wired from those foods because they can be very energizing. And if you have CPTSD, your nervous system's not really working right. So those foods continue to diminish the ability of the nervous system to do its job. Now, it's hard to eliminate all of them. Like I said, I'm not looking for perfection, but I think it's important to be so mindful of what you're consuming and realizing that there might be a cost. Back when I lived in Los Angeles, I had a neighbor I would talk to when we'd walk our dogs, and I at one point mentioned that I'd been, gaining weight because I had to, and just it's been an interesting journey, and I had no idea that eating differently would make you feel differently. And she happened to be a type 1 lifelong diabetic, and she was like, people just don't get it. Everything you put in your body has a consequence, good or bad. Most people don't have to think about it, but when you have diabetes or something else that you have to really be mindful, it's just a game changer. And as much as I don't want to be a positive Polly, I feel really thankful that I have learned this before I continue to age, because I'm hoping to mitigate other health problems, you know what I mean? And have more energy as life gets more draining, maybe. It's something I can't unsee. So I'm not a health nut, because again, I'm trying to gain weight, so I have to have some processed foods, but when I prioritize protein, I sleep so much better, because apparently protein regulates your blood sugar. And so you're not going to have those cortisol spikes in the middle of the night or as you're falling asleep. Now, this is where I'm not a doctor, right? And this is something that my friend recommended for me, knowing my circumstances, knowing my health. She wanted me having 90 grams of protein a day. And I have to say that I pretty much can only function and sleep well if I have at least 70. And I tend to get between 70 and 100 a day. You are different, possibly. You might have very different needs. You might have very different conditions. So do not take my number, you know what I mean? Like, definitely talk to a doctor, definitely start slow and see how your body feels, you know what I mean? These are just food for thought, no pun intended, but prioritizing protein has been a game changer for me. My moods are better, my energy is better, my sleep is better. It's not just that. I've had to do other stuff too, but that made a really quick difference with me. Usually with CPTSD and with healing in general, it's just so slow and it's non-linear and there's no time frame, right? With protein, within a week, I felt like a human for the first time in like a year and a half, if not more, because I wasn't doing well before I stopped eating. It was glorious, Like it was the first time, genuinely, I was gonna make a joke, but no, it was the first time I felt hope that I could actually tangibly be okay and not just like choosing to believe I could be okay. Food can be medicine. Usually annoying people say that, or at least people who've turned me off from wanting to explore that. Old me would have beaten new me up. That's what I keep saying in a lot of ways. But look, food is for energy, so consider how you're fueling yourself, right? God, I'm so plucky. Ugh. Okay, but here's the thing, guys. I have another tip that's like, so annoying. It's so annoying because it's so Captain Obvious and it can be used as something that is so dismissive for people who are depressed, anxious, traumatized, etc. Exercise really does help. Okay, a few things about exercise, okay? Exercise is not fun, especially in the beginning, and your body might think it's being attacked, so you might actually get more anxiety when starting a new fitness regimen, right? So if you think it's like really hard to start working out, you're right. And if you think it's like extra hard to start working out, you're really right, okay? You're extra right. And no, you cannot walk off depression or run off anxiety. Like, fair enough, okay? I am not saying that. But, my mood started to improve. My sleep got deeper. Like, protein helped me sleep through the night. But like working out helps guarantee that I will fall asleep or at least get really tired. And to be clear, I don't always sleep at night. I'm not trying to sound like a hero here and I can do it all. That's beyond far from the truth. What I meant to say was just like, I can at least get tired enough where I feel like going to sleep when I do this. The odds are in my favor. You know what I mean? I'm setting up a good ecosystem. That's the message I'm trying to convey. And now it's just kind of put me in better touch with my body, which is so important for people with CPTSD because we've probably been neglecting our own needs for so many reasons. And we've had to disassociate because it's also, fun fact, a dissociative disorder. Just so much of us got rerouted and rewired that our reality internally is never matched externally, so we have to shapeshift, right? Working out helps put you back in your body. And you don't have to be trying to win trophies or beating records or even looking a certain way. I just like to do intuitive running where it's you know what? I'm enjoying this, so I'm gonna keep going. Or you know what? I'm kind of tired. Is this the kind of tired that I can push through? Maybe. And then I try, and oftentimes I can. And then sometimes it's a no, and that's okay. It's just, again, learning to know your body and not try to live up to some expectation coming from outside sources that start to sound like your own, right? And when I don't run now or do something like a hike or whatever, I start to get tense in my body and I get more anxious, So it's not so much that running or any kind of working out can beat mental illness, but it can help regulate your nervous system. And having a regulated nervous system is the only way you can beat mental illness or really anything in life. Don't look at it like a fitness goal. Don't look at it like an aesthetic goal. Just look at it like you're just caring for your nervous system and learning your body. And it'll help you sleep because when your nervous system works right, you get tired naturally. And lastly, really quickly for the second, but really first step, because it's, throughout your day, right? Before you go to bed, well before you go to bed, hydration. Hydration matters, okay? I'm living in a house with plants. I've never had plants, okay? I have dogs. What plants don't do? They don't knock over water bowls telling you it's time to hydrate them. I'm not saying that I've never kept a plant alive, okay? I'm not saying that I have ever kept a plant. Like, I'm not proud, okay? But yes, my little extended stay accidentally in Atlanta finds myself in a house with like 18 plants. And honestly, the owner of those plants is better than me than taking care of plants, because who wouldn't be? But yeah, you know what? There's some casualties. And honestly, I identify with these plants. I know that sounds weird. You can judge. But again, old me would have beaten new me up, okay? I hear myself. But they're so dehydrated looking. And as I've been learning how to be healthy and getting healthier and being in touch with my body, I look at these plants in the house I'm living in and I'm like, game sees game. That's how I felt. And that's what was literally going on with my body, because I was dehydrated, I was undernourished, I was dying. Okay. Plus everything else that comes with CPTSD, which is like you're not thriving. That's for damn sure. You're just surviving. You're not even really living. You know, it's a bad disorder, guys. I see you. Normies have no idea how hard it is. Like, it's wild. But yes, because we were so out of touch with our bodies, we may not be hydrating. And I was one of those people. And guess what? Hydration helps your nervous system. Apparently, we may need people with nervous system disorders. We may need more than the 64 ounces of water a day that most normies need. I've only read that once, so I'm not gonna like go to the town center and scream it out loud, even though that's kind of what YouTube is. But again, don't take medical advice from ladies who stick their hands up the, puppets' butts. But yeah, it makes sense though, because if the nervous system's so damaged and we're 70% water, like the maths to me. So like, drink a lot of water, because if your nervous system's working right, which it can only do if it's hydrated, you're gonna sleep better. Okay, and last but not least, and this is like the third step, but it's not necessarily the final step. That's up to you. I've already alluded to it. I hid it in plain sight. Special candies. That's what I call them on TikTok, because the clock app really does not like even plant medicine, let alone, DRUGS, Corn Hub, Sexual. They're Puritans, okay? All right, final time. Hi, editing Blair here again. I eventually say this, but I really just didn't want to scare anyone off, because I was silly and didn't say it up front. The special candies or special cigarettes or special beverages, special any way you can ingest the marijuana, if that's not for you, don't worry about it. Like, I'm not saying you should do it. I see you. Everybody responds super differently to all the things that we ingest in general. So there's like no judgment. I'm not trying to push anything, but I am gonna explain, I guess, like my ins and outs and experiences with that before wrapping up this whole episode. So that's what you're in for. Don't worry. You're not gonna hear it from me that like you need to do weed or something. Like, some people are really creepy about that stuff and really boundaryless. And that's why I started a whole different show about cannabis, to have a safe space to talk about how this stuff works while making room for differences, if you will. And I talk a little bit more about the show in this video, which has a lot to do with CPTSD. So even if this isn't for you, this next part, I understand it's controversial. I understand it's not for everyone. So I see you. I'm not trying to push it, but I'm just sharing my experiences and trying to make things make sense from my perspective, but to each their own. You do you, okay? You are valid, as is your decision making with how to treat yourself and CPTSD and any substances that make you feel funny. Now, I am sort of pushing the limits on my YouTube channel because it's not federally legal, but I keep getting, like, one of my favorite brands, actually, Cycling Frog, advertised to me on channels I like, and they're a hemp-based product for the Delta states, which means weed's not fully legal, but there's this loophole called the Farm Bill, blah, blah, blah. Look, here's the thing. I'm very into the special candies, okay? So much so that I have a whole other show about the special candies, okay? And a lot of the time I talk about CPTSD. So even if you're not into the special candies, there's probably something in it for you. Plus, I sound like an idiot because I'm, well, high. So It's great fun, but I am not somebody that pushes, okay? Everybody's brain chemistry is different, and even my friends who also love the special candies, we have very different reactions to different cannabinoids, different types of ways of ingesting. It's not the same experience. It's not a monolith. And while weed has helped me so much with my CPTSD, I know it's not for everyone. You know what I mean? So this is a kind of like a la carte chapter. I'm going to do a whole other video. This is the first video, so I get to like throw all the other first pancake ideas that I have at you, which is probably a bad idea, but I'm gonna do it. Maybe it'll take too long to film them, but I'm gonna do it anyway, so you see where I think the series is going and you can decide if this is fun for you and want to subscribe. But like, okay, even though I have a whole ass other show on weed, I think it would be interesting to just have like maybe like a hybrid like episode and really, like I already sort of did that with like a nervous system episode that'll either be out or is just out. I don't know. I got really stoned one afternoon and was like, you know what? I'm gonna talk about how this is a nervous system disorder. I'm in my feelings about it and I feel articulate. Let's go. That was a fun afternoon. But I'm really tempted to do another episode where I specifically address how weed helped my CPTSD. I hint at that, or like not hint, but like do medium dives into it in some episodes. Like I'm pretty candid about CPTSD on Hi, How Are You? But I don't think I've like in its entirety, all in one space, you know, really done a deep dive on that. And again, if you watch the show, almost every episode, I'm like, but I'm not pushing, like seriously, like just do you, like that's like the thesis of the show, because it's, well, watch the show and you'll see why it's such a big deal that I do that. I think a lot of people have a lot of misapprehensions about cannabis in general, even as somebody who voted for it. And like, I don't do substances. I don't even drink. Like, I'm not saying I never drank. I used to be fun. Alcohol stopped agreeing with me, so it was so easy to like stop. I'm from like a substance abuse family, so I made a pretty conscious choice like as a teenager that like kids like me would go one of two ways. I don't want to go one way. So I somehow, I don't know, just I guess I just made it a point to only be like half interested. So I don't know, I was able to avoid some family history, but now I'm like a huge stoner and I'm like, well, close, but no cigar. I don't think I'll be like this for forever, to be honest, but again, watch the show because I do talk about that sometimes. Oh, but I always preferred marijuana. I just like after a certain point never did it anymore because I don't know why, I just didn't. And I was shocked at like how much I didn't know. And even amongst my friends who are more stoners, because I'm such a curious creature, do you wonder why hypervigilance? It's almost like people who are traumatized are neurodivergent and get hyperfixations, but whatever. Other fun fact, neurodivergent. Qualifying disorder. Qualifier. But because I was such a curious Callie, I learned a lot about the different cannabinoids. And when I brought it up to my stoner friends thinking I'd be, you know, speaking inside baseball because they know more about this than me, they didn't. And I was like, oh. And there's so many people that I've met who have like asked me so many questions and they're just like intimidated to go into a dispensary and don't know what to ask and stuff. And I'm like, ooh, I think there's an opportunity to like fill like a void, right? And a lot of that has not a ton to do with CPTSD because cannabis users take all kinds, right? And so the show is for like everyone, but no, I think I do really want to do like a specific CPTSD collab episode because I think that deserves more than just like a rushed end of this kind of already long video chapter, you know? But what I will say is that if THC, whether it's straight up THC or hemp-derived delta THC, if that agrees with you, sometimes it's nice because it can help you fall asleep. For me, I became a stoner because I wasn't sleeping, like the worst. I've never not been sleeping in my life. And so I was like, well, I voted for this and I'm not against it. So let's go, Lady Grimaldi. Let's go walk to one of the 6 dispensaries in our neighborhood in Los Angeles, which is my favorite place. I miss it. Never thought I'd like that city, but I really do. Another story for another time. back to what we were talking about. I initially went on CBN, which is not psychoactive. So if you do not like the marijuana, I got you. You can go on CBN gummies or oils or whatever other forms they come in. It will not get you high and it will relax you. CBN is actually a very nice, it's called a body high. It doesn't make your mind high, but it just, if you've ever been on a muscle relaxer, which is like a drug I was given after I had this like heart thing, another story for another time. I'm not like into substances, but no, I would be an addict to muscle relaxers if they were legal. I'm just saying, or like more available in the streets, whatever. Oh my God. It was amazing. Weed sometimes feels like a muscle relaxer to me, especially with the other cannabinoids, especially if they don't get you high with the ones that get you, look, we're getting off topic, but CBN really can just lighten your senses and it tingly, almost like it's a good feeling. It helps promote sleep for people. For me, that's what I initially wanted. Long story long, didn't quite work out that way with me. I did have an edible with CBN, but there was also a lot of THC in it too. So I found myself getting incredibly high before bed. And then that gummy was out of stock. And I was like panicked because these gummies were working. So I tried another gummy from the same brand and it didn't have any CBN in it. And honestly, same difference. And I quickly realized, oh, I just need to divorce my brain in order to sleep. Because it'll run me into a ditch, and that's not where you want to be when it's happy trails time, right? So weed for me is a temporary divorce from my brain, and it's a divorce party every night, and I love it. So however your tolerance and preferences may end up, maybe there are options. It is a very confusing industry, I think. People kind of talk to you or write as if you know the lingo, and that's super obnoxious. Again, that's why I started a show. Obviously, if none of this is interesting to you, A, thank you for watching all the way through, but B, no sweat off my back. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. There are so many things that I would never do, or I'm just not interested in, or I've had bad experiences with. We all have something. So those are the 3 chapters, the 3 steps, the 3 amigos of how I have a shot in hell of sleeping. Again, obviously I cycle through different options. Obviously I fall off the bandwagon. I've been traveling. I have not been running as much as I should. You know what I mean? Did not get a good night's sleep last night. So, does suck learning about your body. I'm not gonna lie, because you can't unsee it. You can't unlearn it. You're like, oh, if I don't do this like annoying, tedious thing, so I feel good, I'm not gonna feel good. And now I can't, like, it's just adulting. It's a lot. So speaking of, I'm actually very tired, literally, because I already took a special candy and I took one with CBN in it. So I'm getting really sleepy. So I do have to go. Don't want to, but I have to. And thank you for watching. I hope this was a good first video in terms of like, not all videos are going to be this long, and like, I'm sure many will have different vibes, and I've been a creative type long enough to know that like, sometimes you find the thing when you're doing the thing, so this might end up being, who knows what will get polished or change or whatever, but like, I just want to do deeper dives and not like 4-minute videos of like, okay, take melatonin and then blah, 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 blah. You know, like I want to be able to like riff and have a real conversation and not just be like, you know, a robot spitting facts that you can find online. Like, I don't know. Maybe it won't work in long form either, and that's okay. But this is my experiment, and I'm planning on doing several at least. I hope it goes longer than that, but we'll see how it all, see if you guys like it. Let me know in the comments if you have other sleep hacks, because I think we all need them. And like I said, I learned the magnesium foot spray one and on TikTok. So I mean, like, I think sharing is caring. So one of the things that I really love about my TikTok is like, sometimes if I'm late to the party with like comments, like if I just don't have the type of day where I can check them for whatever reason, sometimes I see like other people like really liking the post where people have like another idea that I didn't say or know, or they're giving each other tips. I'm like, ooh, it's like a little community page. So like, I would love that if this could be a community page also for tips and tricks, because people with CPTSD, we all feel really alone, and we're all pretty burdened by rewiring our whole lives. So, you know, connecting with others who get it, even if it's just virtually, like, it is weirdly helpful. Anyway, I do hope you liked the video. If you did, I hope you subscribe, and I hope you come back, and I will leave a title card of just where else to find me, and I will see you in the next week or two, and I'm rooting for you. Bye.